Hello, this is Caitlin Rule, and I'm going to be talking about communication in education. In this assignment, I was to create an internal and external communication chart for Auburn Elementary School. This chart demonstrates the various ways of communication that's regularly conducted in our school community. I first started a chart using Creately. However, I quickly realized there were many limitations on what was available before needing to upgrade to a premium version. So I decided to switch over to the Chrome extension of Lucidchart, and in my opinion, found it was much more user-friendly. There were still limitations before going premium, but I was able to provide the information needed and apply it to my chart. There are two publics focused on my chart, internal and external forms of communication. I'm going to start with the internal parts, so I'm going to start with the left side. Internal communication is when communication takes place between the members of the organization. My chart shows this as administration, teachers, support staff, the school board, students, and parents. We use many forms of communication internally to keep all employees and parents up to date with district news, policy changes, instructions, and grading procedures, along with helping build morale and support, asking for input, and of course this year a big focus on safety policies and procedures through the pandemic and hybrid learning. We use this communication through staff meetings, parent-teacher conferences, school assemblies, class field trips, and PTA. An example of how our information might be addressed would be our administration would discuss policies and procedures to our teachers, who would then guide students and parents through this process. Parents and students can then question the policies, and teachers can direct these questions to the administration to clarify it in more detail. Internal communication uses formal and informal ways of communication, such as Google Calendar invites, emails, phone calls, staff newsletters, faxes, face-to-face meetings, or now video conferencing, presentations, seminars, agendas, and even manuals. One of our school strengths is internal communication. Our school is a part of a large district. However, we are a smaller elementary school on the rural outskirts of the larger city. This small community helps us to keep communication fluent and makes it easier to clarify conversations. A weakness our school runs into is the lack of face-to-face communication we receive from the district. Because our school is on the outside of the city, our school is more likely to receive an email or forwarded information to our administration rather than a direct form of communication from our district. Now, if you look on the other side of my chart, you will see the external publics. The type of communication that occurs between the school and external community is known as external communication. My chart shows this as parent organizations, community groups, elected officials, business communities, law enforcement, and partners. We use this form of communication to increase recognition and public understanding. The communication here is mostly formal and clearly documented. It focuses on facilitating cooperation with the groups to build and maintain good public image through relationships. With our school being in a small rural community, it's very important to continue with these positive relationships. We can direct information to these groups with advertisements, newsletters, press releases, flyers, pamphlets, letters, priceless manuals, invitations, customized reports, and even service calls. These groups use these forms of communication to tell community members about local events such as parades and carnivals, advertise for speakers and authorities, and even draw attention to political actions. I will note that our district has recently acquired a pressure group, which was started by a group of parents who disagree with the decision of hybrid learning for this school year. They started a Facebook group page and have been building up numbers each day. Our district quickly addressed this situation before it got too intense and noted that the next board meeting will be open to any questions or concerns, and that the superintendent will also be attending to speak for his decision of hybrid learning for our district and answer any questions that the community has. I was really impressed by how quick our district responded to this situation before it got out of control. Looking at my chart now, some things I might have changed, is probably the background color to really match my school district, maybe a different kind of blue or make it white, something different. And I also noticed some of my pictures are a little bit blurry around the edges, and so I might have different pictures for that one. Another thing I might have changed is some of the shapes for my words, because I noticed that some of the words are getting a little too big for their little sections. My chart does show that if everyone in the community stays in good communication internally and externally, our students will be set up to succeed and set up for success.